Hello and welcome, it's Dr. Drredfrizzle here again, and I'd like to talk to you today about behaviour. So, first of all, I've written up here instinct versus intuition. Now, natural instinct, we have to think, what is natural instinct? Well, natural instinct is something that's programmed into a particular animal or a particular person, and it's something that they do without being taught it. So they haven't learnt it from anyone in particular or anything. So it's a response that an animal or even a plant will do just on its own accord. So, for example, supposing you had a spider. A spider would make a web to catch flies, not because it's been taught by another spider how to make a web. It hasn't been taught by anyone or anything how to make that web. It just naturally does it. And this whole idea of things doing stuff without being taught it is this whole idea of instinct. Now, intuition, that basically means learning. So, supposing you haven't learned something, it's natural instinct. But supposing you have learned it, it's called intuition. So, supposing I learned that the school bell at school meant that it was the end of break because everyone goes in at the end of break, and I knew that, I'd have learned that that was what was happening, so I'd be going back to my lesson. But supposing I heard that bell for the first time, I'd have to act on it via my natural instinct. So that bell to me might be quite a scary thing. So my natural instinct might be to run away. So I might be scared of it. So you have to realise that we do certain things because they're instinctive. If we experience something for the first time, this usually happens. But supposing we've been taught how to respond to a particular thing, then we learn this by intuition. Intuition can be one of the main methods of that. This whole idea of teaching people is by enabling them to copy what you're doing. So I might be talking to you today about instinct, and then you may be talking to your friends about instinct, and that's how you learn how to do things. So this whole idea of intuition. Also imprinting here. Imprinting, you might have heard the word printing before. It's nothing to do with actual printing. Printing means like replicating a particular drawing or something that you've created, or like a typed out essay or something. That it's not that sort of printing. It's the sort of printing that is which basically means that supposing you have like a duck or something, like a duck or any other particular animal, when this duck is first born, it will look around for the mother duck, and the first object that's moving, regardless of whether it is actually the mother duck, that baby duck will assume that it's the mother duck. So so this whole concept means that whatever the first thing that's moving is seen to be the parent. So you'll be more inclined to actually copy what that person does, the behaviour. So this whole idea of intuition. Who does the duck take the intuition from? Who does the duck learn from? And that is the parent. And how does it learn? It often copies the behaviour of the parent. So this whole idea of instinct, intuition, and imprinting, that is. Um, I've sort of talked to you a bit about imitation already. Imitation is just the idea of copying particular behaviour. Um, like down here I've got tagging and field work. Now this is particularly important to do with behaviour because basically tagging is how we monitor animal behaviours. So in the wild, to find out that animals do copy each other and they do respond to the first thing that they see as their mother, by this whole idea of imprinting, to actually know this, scientists have needed to carry out some field work, and they've needed to actually tag these animals, which is a way of monitoring them and finding out what they get up to and how they behave in a particular way. So this is known as field work, and tagging is just one example of field work. We might like put up some sort of tent, and it might have someone in it, and they might sit there for hours monitoring badgers or something at night. But this whole idea of working outside the laboratory, which is where scientists study usually, is called field work. So it's work sort of outside. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a field, but it's just anything that's outside of a laboratory is classed as field work. Okay. Up here I've got this whole idea of condition response. Condition response just means it's something that's been learned. So like supposing you had a dog. Well, when dogs are hungry, what they'll normally do is they'll normally sort of froth at the mouth and they produce a lot of saliva. Because saliva, as I may have mentioned this before, but saliva contains an enzyme. I'm going to mention what it's called now, amylase it's actually called, and what this does is it helps break down your food. So the dogs produce a lot of this, just instinctively when there's food around. So they see that the food's around, and that their body just as a response, like makes more saliva to help digest it. Now this just happens anyway, so this isn't like natural instinct. It will just happen because the body just does it on its own accord. But this whole idea of being able to learn things means that supposing you rang a bell, and like the dog came over and realised that it was getting food, the next day you rang the bell, the dog would remember from before that you rang the bell, and it would associate or refer to that bell, and it would think of it as being a call for food. So every time that bell's rang, that dog would come and it would get this particular food. So this whole idea of conditioned response just means a learned response, okay? Advertising I've put up there, that's conditioned response as well. Supposing we're told on television all the time, which we are, like by certain adverts. So supposing it's a soap advert, for example, they might say that this soap does wonders for your skin. And the more we hear that, the more we'll be inclined to actually believe that it does, and that's because we're learning that it does by seeing somebody else telling us that it does. So we'd want to be like that person in the advert. That's why we show you the person on the advert actually using the product or whatever it is that they're using, because they want us to see them doing it so that we can practice this whole idea of imitation, which is where we copy what they're doing. Okay, so that's why I've included advertising there. So I hope this video has been helpful, and hope you understand about animal and human behaviour a little bit in more detail now, and it all makes a bit more sense. So thanks for watching this series for Key Stage 3. Hope this has been a great help. Please like my videos or leave comments or subscribe, because that would make me really happy. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.